Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Hopefully we'll give you some great talk here, take you away from the insanity that's going on in the video game industry, and we'll talk about Streets of Rage 2 and who is a worthy successor. You know, that's what I was thinking about when I wrote the article on the Substack. If you guys haven't done so, you can go over there and subscribe for free. I'm going to put a link down below. And when we're talking about that, do me a favor, guys. Whatever you can do to support the channel, since we've been shadow banned because we're fighting the forces of evil here on the internet, go ahead and do whatever you do. You know, like, subscribe, comment, join the channel, support us, because we're moving forward. You know, there's not many people out there that are speaking out against what's being done to us as people of faith in the video game space. So the more of us there are, the better. Now, with that said, guys, Streets of Rage 2 was the perfect game in my point of view, right? It was the perfect beat 'em up console game in the 90s. It really was. It has everything there. You know, and I laid it out here on my article, but I just don't want to, you know, sit here and read, because then it's just going to be boring, right? But basically the story here is, if you go back in the day, it had to be 1992, I think, when this game was released. I went and bought it. Right? It's a new release. I bought it, went to Toys R Us, paid $72.95. Right? I was a degenerate even back then, because that's like $167 now. And I only made $280 a week. So it's only like a third of my paycheck was going to this, right? And I already had 2 kids, but I've been saving up, you know, little by little, skipping lunches, doing whatever I had to do in order to get this. And my wife wasn't at the time wasn't completely jazzed, but she knew that I deserved a good game back then. I've been working hard, so that's what I did. That's what I chose to do that year. And let me tell you, it's a testament, a real testament to the quality in gaming back then, because I still have my Genesis. It still works. I still have this cartridge. It still works. And I've been playing this game for decades, literally decades. And, you know, I've enjoyed every single penny that I spent on that game. It has been returned to me in joy, in, you know, satisfaction and gameplay and everything else, right? But just to show you what kind of degenerate I've been for so long, and you know, back then the other choice was Street Fighter was coming out. I don't know if you guys remember, it was coming out, but even back then we had scalpers. I couldn't afford to buy a Super Nintendo. You know, it's like over $200 back then. Street Fighter games are being scalped, I believe. It was over $100. You know, the time frame is a little fuzzy for me all this time over, but I know it was around the holidays when I did all this, right? Regardless, guys, that was the game. You know, there's certain games, you know, that are considered perfect by many players. Streets of Rage 2 is one of them, the perfect beat 'em up home console. And as far as Mario Brothers, a lot of people say Mario 3. You know, I probably would agree was the game to buy, right? If you're introducing somebody to a new game, it would be Mario 3. I preferred Miss Pac-Man over Pac-Man, and we have many games in different genres, right, where we consider that they are the perfect games, meaning that it's a perfect, you know, gameplay for somebody to start, you know, and just refine the whole process of that genre, you know, to a diamond level, right, if you will. Now, I want to examine this because I played 2 games, right? And the final game that I played was Final Vendetta. Final Vendetta amazed me. It really did. And right now, guys, it's nuts. These Final Vendetta you can find on Steam for like less than $7 right now. Streets of Rage 4 is still like $29.90 something, both on Steam. But if you go to Steam, you can buy this game pretty cheap. Regardless, guys, when I played this game and I started reflecting on Streets of Rage 4, I found myself finding things that I was missing in Streets of Rage 4. Right, so I'm going to make the case to you that Final Vendetta, right? Final Vendetta is a more true successor, a spiritual successor, if you will, to the Streets of Rage. You know, you can look, and this is Blaze, right? We all know this is Blaze. The characters may have changed, right? I mean, because they can't get in trouble by Sega, especially if they're putting out a competing product, right? But to me, when I played this, starting with the pixel art, and that was always my contention with Streets of Rage 4, was the art. I don't like this cartoony stuff. I just don't. I've never have. In general, I played some games that have this art style, but not with a franchise that's already established. Right? If a franchise goes from pixels to this, it always bugs me, guys. The gameplay was there, the music was there, but I always felt like there was something missing. I mean, starting with additionally paid content. I mean, but regardless, I mean, the gameplay was solid. I'm not going to sit here in front. It was nice that you could go back and get some of the older characters. But, there was always something missing. I mean, that's just the way I felt throughout the game. And when I played Final Vendetta, even though it's a game with a lot less budget, you can tell, the soul was there, man. The soul of Streets of Rage 2 is here. Right, and I'm not sitting here, promoting these games because I'm getting a commission or nothing. I'm not. Right, this is just pure gameplay that I've been going back and I'm playing. I've been playing my retro games at home. My physical copies, and then online I've been trying to look for retro content because we're over here sitting fighting these battles against these AAA companies that think they deserve our money, while at the same time attacking us. They don't deserve our money. I mean, I'm looking for other options. The only thing we can do when we're being attacked is, take away the stick sometimes. Some people believe in turning the other cheek. Some of you want to, have conversations. I'm done talking. I'm done talking. I'm going to change my spending habits, and pretty soon here, I'm going to make a video regarding that. Regardless, guys, for this particular episode, I wanted to compare these two games and tell you that I feel that Final Vendetta is more of a successor than Streets of Rage 4. It may carry the name, it may have the blessings of SEGA, but at the end of the day, there's just something missing to that game. And even though Final Vendetta is, could use a bigger budget, and they're probably never going to get it because, nobody's investing in 16-bit games other than in the indie industry. Right, but if they had that kind of budget, can you imagine what kind of game they could have made? Because at the end of the day, guys, when we're talking about Streets of Rage 2 and having successors, if you ask most purists out there, we just want more levels. We want Streets of Rage 2 and just give us more levels, give us more of the same, but make the game twice as big. Include everything. Don't give me any paid options. Just give me everything at once. I'll pay $72 again right now in today's dollars. I pay $150 if I knew, that I was getting my money's worth like I did before. That is my proposition. I don't mind paying the money if the game is that good. But with Streets of Rage 4, it always felt like something was missing. That's why, I played it on the Game Pass and I was like, oh man, it's here. But I found myself just going back and playing Streets of Rage 2 most of the time, right? As I advanced, I tried to do things, but I don't know, man. There's just something about the game that just didn't hit me the right way, and most of it, it's just me being biased. I like pixelated games, and I think people my age do. But with that said, I completely understand why they did this, right? They have to appeal to a broader audience. Even if we don't like it, we have to recognize that younger audiences don't like pixelated games. For the most part, a lot of them, but, at least the demographic that they're trying to hit. And this game, for all practical purposes, was a commercial hit, right? They sold a lot of copies, and I'm not saying it's a bad game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying that for a Streets of Rage 4 title, it should have been pixelated. At least that's the way I feel in my heart. You could have made a Streets of Rage something, continuation. I don't know. There was plenty to do here. You got all this extra stuff. But at the end of the day, man, there's something about Final Vendetta. And you know what? It's only $6 something right now. It's not even $7. So if you haven't played this game, right, and if you love Streets of Rage, if you love retro gaming, then this may be your cup of tea. Alright guys, once again I ask you to please subscribe, please hit the like button, do whatever you can, join if you want to see the older content that got me banned in the first place. You can hit the join button. But we'll be putting out more videos when I get time. Right now, guys, let me tell you, I'm awake. I started making this video like at 3 something. I wrote the script before. But the baby's sick, and we're trying to make her feel better, whatever. My wife and baby are both asleep, and now I'm awake. I can't, I can't go back to sleep. So I had to do something, and here we are. We're making a video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So once again, guys, I will catch you on the next time. Stay tuned, and thank you for stopping by. Stay blessed.
New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.